My name is Eva Illouz. I'm a sociologist and I teach in Paris and in Jerusalem. Welcome to my exp. The use of emotions in the political sphere and in the public sphere has always been deemed as counter-democratic and not for nothing. For example, someone like Machiavelli, who advised the prince on the better way to control his subjects, put fear, for example, at the center of his mode of governance. Machiavelli suggested that the best would be to evoke fear and love in his subject, but if you have to choose, he said, you should choose fear over love, because through fear you can at least have social order. But I bring up the example of Machiavelli to say that we have come to view this kind of advice as being antithetical with a democratic way of conducting our political affairs. I think that it is a mistake. Emotions are never far away from politics, and they are, in fact, always built within politics. What we have, I think, what we can observe in the last few years, perhaps in the last decade, or in the last even 5 years, is general agreement on grievance. So first of all, grievance seems to characterize a lot of countries. And it has come in the form of people voting for Trump, people voting for Brexit. And it has come in the form of many people voting for candidates who seem to reject, in fact, the traditional ways in which politics was done. Think about the so-called white males. So white males used to have many privileges. Among others, they used to have steady jobs, and they used to always be able to count on the service of a woman. But this is no longer the case, especially for working class men. And so I would say that indeed working class men who have seen their privileges undercut and who mistakenly think that minorities are advancing much further than themselves, these group of white men are becoming increasingly angry, so that we can speak of the phenomenon of an angry white male. And it is not by accident that these angry white male, and even I would say older white male, are the ones who voted in very high numbers for Trump or for Brexit. And I would say also that there is a last element that is quite interesting, and which might not be different from some of the things I described, I just described, but which are quite common now in Israel in the US, in England, in Hungary. And it is, I would say, and it is a sense of grievance by the majority towards the minority. And so, in democratic theory, there is always a fear that the majority would become abusive of minorities. And so democracies take great precautions to prevent the dangers of majoritarianism. So the wars around political correctness are also about trying to inverse and reverse the relationship between majority and minority, where the majority is now claiming that it is under the duress and harassment of minorities. So all of this to say that first, emotions can never be really taken out of the democratic process. They are part of it. And second, that this particular historical moment is one in which very many groups, for different reasons, have articulated a sense of grievance against each other, and the extreme polarization of politics in many places worldwide, I think, is about that sense of mutual grievance.